Today's meeting to order. Jim, will you do a roll call, please?
Tom McDonald,
Here.
Anita Matt,
Present.
Jennifer Finley,
Here.
Jim Molitor,
Here.
Carol Langford, Len Tootie,
Here.
Bing Matt, Ellie Bundy,
Present.
Martin Charlo, Mike Dolson,
I'm here.
James Steele Senior.
Thank you, Jen. Jennifer, could I ask you to lead us in a prayer this morning?
May I ask for blessings upon our entire membership, past, present, and future. And I pray that the work that we do is a blessing to our tribe, and the work that we do protects them and protects our land, and that all of our work has a positive impact for our community and always has the best interests of our people at heart. And I ask for a blessing for everyone here, that they have the courage to make hard decisions that we sometimes have to make, and that that our work is blessed by our good hearts. Lum lumsh.
Len Jennifer for the prayer. Start us out right. Thank you. We have our minutes. I think we have two sets of minutes this morning for us. We have the minutes of March 31st. Look at those first.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Nina.
I'd make a motion to approve the March 31st minutes with the additions and corrections.
Motion by Anita to approve the March 31st minutes with additions and corrections. Second by Mike to approve the minutes of March 31st with additions and corrections. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, show of hands. There we go. Unanimous for those in attendance this morning. Now we have the April 1st minutes. Abby, I would just add some more detail to page 7 when I was recognizing the other folks that got recognition from other entities. Where Marie Terosian has been a tribal employee for 35 years, and she was recognized for being a Native American woman leader in tourism by the American Indian and Alaskan Native Tourism Association. And further down the paragraph, the National Wildlife Society, it's the Montana chapter of the National Wildlife Society that honored Shannon Claremont and the late Stacy Corville. And for Alan Addison at the very end of the paragraph, Alan was recognized by the MCAN board and the Montana chapter of Aspire.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Ellie.
Abby, on page 6 at the end of my statement, if you could just delete that very last sentence. It should be that completes, but just delete that whole last sentence. Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah, go ahead, Martin. Go ahead, Martin.
I don't know if I have the best service, but could I take off that I left? I actually stayed on Zoom.
Page 4, I quoted Judge Manley. Judge Manley had reported that 80% of the people that he dealt with had come back, and because of the drug court, 20% of people had come back. Can you just take that sentence out? And then further down, where I said the drug task force said we are turning people with trauma into felons, can you please take that sentence out? Thank you.
On page 9, the update by Brian Upton and Shane Marjo, Steph Gill and Shannon Claremont. The celebration is scheduled for May 20th, 21 and 22.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to approve the minutes of April 1st with changes.
Motion by Ellie to approve the minutes of April 1st with changes and corrections. Second by Anita to approve the minutes for April 1st with changes and correction. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, show of hands. Unanimous. Thank you. We have our agenda before us. Any updates? I have one request for to add to the for open session for this morning. One quick brief item. Motion by Len to approve the agenda for today. Second by Jimmy. Any further discussion? With additions? Any further discussions? All those in favor, show of hands. Thank you, unanimous. Okay, just quickly, the lost my paper. Here we go. We had a really nice update from Steve Claremont and the other representatives from Mission West Community Development Partners, and they were hoping to have a representative from council partake in their meetings. And we're hoping that there might be someone that would step up and participate with their community-focused economic development work that they do for our region, our area, the reservation, basically. Is there any volunteers? Pardon? Well, their workshop they held, that we were invited to, the last workshop they held down in Paradise at the old school. Yeah, I know, it's a cool place too. And it was a pretty good workshop, but I don't think anybody made it. But Steve Claremont and Jim Fadden really are hoping a tribal representative could participate. You know, Janet has in the past, but of course she's retiring, and I didn't know if there was a council representative who would like to do it. I mean, I'd love to do it myself. Mike, would you like to do it? Okay. Is that anybody else, or can we have a consensus? Martin? Martin? He's here. You can't volunteer him because he's not here. Good try, good try. But we have, yeah, so, okay. So Mike and Jennifer would be, I'll let them know if that's consensus of council. Okay, Sound good?
Let us know what the meeting times are and
Mhm.
and where.
Sure. I'll have Steve give us. Yeah. Yeah, so we'll have Mike as, it's a board member, so Mike and Jennifer could be the main and the alternate. That works. And certainly, we could all show up. I mean, their meetings are open, so. Lem Lunch, thank you. Let them know, and we'll get the schedule from Steve Claremont. Okay, I don't know if we're ready for folks. No, not at all. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a big thank you to Patricia Hibbler and Lisa Shorts for going with Bing and I to Arlie for a tour in Kusum and Community Center and looked at all their issues. And big thank you to them guys. They do a great job. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead, Nita.
Just real quickly, in lieu of that email that or that Facebook post that I shared this morning, I'm wondering when or if we could get Dan in to talk about if they've gotten people hired or what their plan is for the river and the recreation this year. Sometime in the next few weeks, because it started.
I will pass that information on to Rich Jansen and Dan. Have them be available. Another meeting came up that Jim advised everybody of if they wanted to sit in on the afternoon of April 27th. The regional EPA administrators from EPA are going to be here and have a meeting right here in the council chambers or the room behind us. So if there's anybody interested, that'll be at 3 o'clock, 3 to 5 o'clock on April 27th.
Did they provide an agenda?
No agenda yet, so they're just scoping it out.
Yeah, I would like to find out what they wanted to discuss before we.
Yeah, Chauncey to, they have their usual meet and greet with EPA all the time. The EPA administrators always come to NRD. So I would imagine there'll be any new administrative policy changes under this administration, which would be a rollback from some of the Trump things that were going on that they would probably cover, but we can do that. Go ahead, Jennifer.
I just had a question about the medicine tree trip on Thursday. If anybody else was going, I mean, if nobody else is going, I'll go, but if somebody else wants to go, I'll stay here. No, Carol or Martin or anybody wanted to go on that day?
I was planning on going.
We do have an agenda for Thursday, and I believe we have some action items.
Martin, did you say you're going?
I would like to, yes. I can be on Zoom. Probably I get service all the way past Darby, so I can be on still.
I have a funeral service I need to go to, so actually I will be missing for at least 2 hours on Thursday from 10:30 to probably 2.
So there should be 7 of us.
Okay. Okay, so Jennifer will go and Martin will go and he'll be available by Zoom. Sounds good.
Yeah, I think it's
Okay, we have walk-in. So we have walk-in time, David and Vicky Gletch. Come on up. Good morning, welcome. We have a request for a marriage event at Mission Reservoir.
That's correct. My son and future daughter-in-law would like to use the reservoir for a few hours to have their marriage, get some pictures taken, and then we will move the reception to our residence in Polson.
Did you contact the Fish and Wildlife Division first?
I did, sorry. I guess you don't have to hold it down. Yeah, they're the ones that told me that I had to write a letter to the council requesting permission to use it and come see you guys. So that's the path we're following right now.
So your group size is exceeding 20 people?
No, there's only going to be 13. He's a US Navy and they're required to have minimal sizes. So it's just going to be the immediate
everyone in
family.
your party going to have an individual recreation permit?
That was the request, was for a one-time permit for the party instead of
A group
everybody.
use permit, prorated for the day?
Yeah,
Okay, I see. Now I understand.
all right.
Is any of your group going to have recreation permits anyway? Is there local people that would have recreation permits?
Just us.
Yeah, my son in the military, we've just recently moved to Polson. We're gonna have our recreation permits, my wife and I. Once they're part of the Polson, because they use our address, because he's still young. They'll become members in Polson or residents of Polson when they get the address change. And then they'll probably get their permits as well.
Okay, well, so the group use permit would be, in the past, it's up to the council. Decision would be a prorated rate for that day at the highest rate of individuals, which would be out of state rate or off reservation rate for the day. And then the head count that you would indicate, then that's what the permit would be issued for one day's use, minus the people that already have permits that would be you two. So don't want to make you pay twice. So, but those in the party that don't have a rec permit, that's what the one-day group permit would cover. And we'd have to have a list of names, the date, that information.
Okay, we can provide that to you. Would you just like us to mail it to you or bring it back in when I get a chance?
If council considers your proposal for one-day group use permit for 12 persons at Mission Reservoir for a wedding, then you would have to provide that information to the Fish and Wildlife Division office, and they could fill out the details of the permit if council authorizes it today.
Okay, thank you.
Motion by Len to approve the one-day wedding group use permit for Mission Reservoir for the Glitch wedding,
Like,
like wedding, excuse me. Second by Ellie. Any further discussion? Go ahead, Carol.
as long as we don't exceed there.
Well,
How
I think it's
about
a
the
reception at
reception?
your house we're interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do make a mean brisket.
All those in favor? Unanimous. Provide the details to Fish and Wildlife. I'll give them a call and let them know. You're set.
I appreciate, thank you for your time.
You bet. Thank you. And
Yeah, thank you.
all right, next on the agenda, Rodney. Good morning. Come on up. Go ahead, Rodney.
As Quicks, Kisu Quicknum, good morning and thank you for your time today. Chairman McDonald, honored council members. We're here today to request an opportunity for us to go after a NYCP grant. And we had applied for one in 2018. And at that time, we had a cluster of suicides. And if you're not aware, most of you are, that, you know, about 80% of those students two were current and the rest were former Two Eagle students. So they were alumni, some out 10 years, some out 1 year, 2 years. So when we wrote this grant, we kept in mind that the social emotional needs of the students, and they're getting them to school and helping them perform. So we wrote the grant to target those, and our strategies were wrapped around that. And we had a unique idea that we would support the families of the students, and we hired a family parent advisor, and we supported the staff would have up to about 6 students, but not responsible just for the student, but also reaching out to the families. What are your needs at home? What can we do to help? Including counseling services. We had family counseling. So those were the main things of that grant. You know, we did the college stuff, partnering with, we had STEM classes. Some of our kids were dual enrolled with the SKC, and even currently they are. And so we built some really nice things, and we had some good partners with oversight in the language department. We hired a cultural advisor who helps integrate language and culture into the curriculum of the courses at Two Eagle. So all these to help support and strengthen and add to the resiliency of the students. So it was an awesome grant, and the benefits were very, very far reaching. And this grant is kind of a continuation to us, because we built some things that we want to sustain. And then of course there's new objectives to the grant, and we're meeting those objectives and have some really good ideas going forward. And one of them is interesting. We have a lot of students come from Incusum, and our teacher, DJ Pipot, used to work there. Now he teaches Salish. Well, the students come there, and we have to create an advanced class for them. So our next step is to try to help the teacher, native language teacher education program at the college, because if our teacher can teach the first year of classes at Two Eagle and do concurrent or dual enrollment, then they can start the program at the college and go right in with 1 year, almost like an advanced placement class where they pass a proficiency test, and they can go ahead and enter the program as a sophomore. So in addition to other things that the grant needs, you know, teacher prep is a big one, and so we have goals for that, but that's kind of in a nutshell.
I would just like to add that that NYCP grants come from the Office of Indian Education. And one of their priorities in this round of applications is teacher education. That I think they're seeing that there's a teacher shortage, not just in Montana, but everywhere. And so to address that, they'd like for us to encourage our high school students to think about careers in education. So for this grant, that partnership with Incusum could be really beneficial for Two Eagle students and for the Incusum program, where we could place students who might be interested in teaching at Incusum. We also have a partnership with Early Childhood Services. We have what used to be called the Striving Readers Grant. It's looking at building literacy skills. So we partner with Head Start, where our students can go into classrooms and work, you know, mostly read to younger children. But we could include college dual enrollment for these experiences that our students would be having in these environments. So we're hoping to do dual enrollment, maybe at other TCUs as well, or at the University of Montana Western that delivers an online program. So our students wouldn't have to drive anywhere, but they could enroll in online classes, and we could hire a mentor at the high school that would help them with these online classes. We also put in our budget some laptop computers, textbooks, things that our students might need. What we really want to give them is a jump start where they get work experience, but they're also getting credit for that work experience, not just high school, but also college credit where we can. We're doing surveys right now to find out what our interests are of our students and our parents and their needs around college and career readiness. So we're going to be able to implement some strategies based around these surveys as well. But I think one of the most important things is just how important these grants are to Two Eagle River School. The grant that we have now, we have seen incredible success and progress. And I think what Rodney was referring to earlier, the suicide completions, we have had none in the past 3 years since we've started this grant. And I really think in part it's due to the, the intense partnerships that our teachers and our staff are building with students and families, that they're making those connections, they're entering them, and we're tracking the data on how much impact these services are having on our students and our families. And even with the fact that we had to go remote and a lot of schools saw a decrease in student proficiency around math and reading, we're maintaining those levels. We are not advancing where we'd like to be and making growth, but our students are maintaining their skills. And so our proficiency levels are something that we also want to address with this new grant, where we want to challenge them more. I feel like we've got the social, emotional supports in place. And what we want to do next is take them and challenge them more academically and get them connected with more opportunities in the workforce. So we're also looking at partnering possibly with SNK Technology. We visited with Chad last year and looking at, what opportunities our students could have in tribal and community employers. So I think that's all I have to add to what Rodney says, but we're open for questions if you have anything.
The last grant, what was the amount and what is the amount for this new grant?
Our last grant was around 627,000, I believe. It was a very large grant. We're being very cautious with this grant, and right now our budget is around 485,000. It's really tight. We want to hire and pay for mentors, a college coach, a career counselor, and then a project coordinator that can manage all these different things that our students would be doing out in the community.
So you referenced that even with remote learning, you're not falling behind, you're staying even. Well, that's kind of unique, I guess, in my experience with remote learning and what COVID has done with kids falling behind. It's nice to know that you're thinking about putting added effort to make sure they even increase, they don't fall behind, and actually kind of play catch up to some degree. That's unique, and certainly the language program is very unique and beneficial. Any comments or questions from council? Go ahead, Jennifer.
Yeah, I have a comment, and it might need to be an executive.
Any other comments or questions before we move into executive?
Oh, no, I think they all are. No, they can be here. They can be here.
Okay.